My name's Elaine Howden. I was Elaine Barber before I was married, and my great-great-grandfather was a gentleman called Thomas Napier, who was one of the pioneers of Melbourne. My family, as is Rosie's, have always had an interest in the history of the family, especially my father, and he obviously kept a lot of documentation, photographs and things, which I discovered in a big tin box in March this year when my younger sister Patsy died, and her family asked me to go through the box, and here were a lot of treasures of dating right back to Thomas Napier himself. And having had a look through all of this and contacted Rosie, of course, who's my cousin, we decided that the best place for a couple of these documents was the State Library. And so here we are today.
We have some of the only copies known to exist of the Melbourne Advertiser, which was first published in 1838, by the way. And the donation was the second ever issue, published on the 8th of January 1838. So there were reproduction copies made it turns out in 1868 and 69. So these reproductions of the early Melbourne Advertiser were old in themselves and rare in themselves. So it turned out that the copy that was being brought in may have been one of these reproductions. So it was brought in, and we were able to compare the two items, and unfortunately, a little disappointingly, the copy that was brought in was a reproduction, and it looked almost identical, but the colour of the paper, the colour of the ink was slightly different, and there was a very, very, very small note on the bottom back page of the copy that was a reproduction, indicating that it was a reproduction. Very, very tiny, literally fine print, or fine writing actually. And so the donor had not noticed that, but we did, and we were able to establish that it was a reproduction. So not a genuine copy, unfortunately, but still something very rare and unusual, and we were happy to receive that as a donation at the library. I can only speculate that the publisher of that newspaper was one of the founders of Melbourne, John Pascoe Fawkner, and he died in 1869, and that was when this reproduction was done. So I'm speculating, but it may be that he being one of the founders of Melbourne, a very, very well-known figure in Melbourne's history, perhaps at the time of his death, some printers and entrepreneurs decided here's something, a way of commemorating, partly, but possibly also with an eye to a sale as well. So it's, that's something I'm going to do some more investigation into, actually, to find out, because I'm sure there were probably ads in the newspapers for these copies, so maybe we can find that out.
Just the general history has been really quite exciting to read about. For instance, Elaine was saying browsing through the paper, the facsimile of one of the early newspapers, that the way it's laid out and the content of it is just really so different from today, and really good fun. It's actually quite exciting, isn't it? And it's lovely that they're all together in safekeeping. I am more than happy for them to be here. We've been met very warmly and kindly, and we're very happy with the decision we've made. Yes.